Hey, we're live.
Hey, we're live!
Hey, this is JP.
And this is Julie.
And this is Book of Hours podcast. Now, what are we calling this one?
We're calling it Product.
Product, yes, because we're getting reports that there's a new product rolling out from Washington, D.C.
Hey, JP.
Hey, Julie.
Did you hear about the new product coming out that no one's talking about?
Nobody's talking about it, but it's brought to you by the same people who brought to you the Iraq War, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki.
And Trump steaks, and Trump water, and Trump wine.
Well, don't forget Trump University.
And Trump University.
That's right. And all those are fine products, I must say.
Fine products.
If they're not killing people, they're killing people.
Right.
But in different ways, right? Because, the Trump University was such a success in cheating people.
Yeah. Are we sideways?
We're not sideways.
We might be sideways.
We might be a little sideways.
Well, because the live button is
the live button is over there, but we're recording fine.
Are we upside down?
Gosh, I hope not.
That would be weird, right?
Yeah, does it normally sit on the bottom? Or is it usually on the side?
Well, let's just keep rolling and
Oh my God.
see what happens.
Well, we'll see what happens. Oh,
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So tonight we're going out on the town.
Yeah, and so we would like to personally thank Abby and Robbie Martin for ruining our lives and telling us about this product that we
That we're
have just
telling you
learned
about. Yeah.
through them, through their wonderful pre-holiday podcast.
Right, and now we're actually going to go see Robbie Martin.
Yeah, we're going to go check out Robbie Martin in the Mission District here in San
No,
Francisco.
in Noe Valley.
Oh, it's in Noe Valley?
Yeah, Adobe Books.
Adobe is in Noe. Oh,
Yeah.
I told Susan it was in the Mission. Oops.
Well.
It's in Noe Valley. It's not in the Mission. She's probably not watching. But yeah, so we were just listening to Robbie and Abby talk about the
new product.
The new product.
The new product release.
It's going to be. They said that it's happening. We're going to North Korea.
This? So
it's
what is
like
this?
surreal. I can't
know.
even
What is
believe
this product then?
we're going to North Korea.
Yeah, and so basically it's a bloody. The Trump administration is talking about a bloody nose attack against North Korea, and what that means is, who knows? I mean, does it mean nuclear? Does it mean? We don't know.
Yes, I mean what we'll do is we'll link the podcast and the show notes here. We'll also link the couple of articles, ironically enough, from Business Insider, and there's a couple of other articles that they've talked about where the Telegraph UK. Like this is the thing that everybody should be talking about.
But they're not.
All of mainstream media should be talking about this. This should be the thing.
Mainstream media is more concerned about a couple in Paris who locked up their children, allegedly
Paris,
locked
California,
up
not Paris, France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Allegedly locked up their children. We have other ideas that might be,
It
false
feels
flag,
like they're
but-
really trying to target the homeschool community.
Yeah. So
I actually don't think these. Well,
okay, so
maybe they're real. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's
it
a
could
little
be
bit
real.
too much. Like here, let me shove this story
Down
down
your
your throat.
throat.
And whenever there's so much of something being shoved down my throat, I tend to get a little gun shy. I tend to want to back off. I mean, I had
Right.
enough of that growing up in an evangelical household.
So speaking of all that, I mean, instead of us hearing about this, because we're going to hear about it eventually, but
Right.
Instead of hearing about it, the rhetoric that is coming out is very similar to the Iraq War.
Yeah, it's the
from
same.
17 years ago,
It's a
or
blueprint,
not 17.
Well,
15
it's
15
about
years ago.
17.
No,
No,
about-
we're looking at, let's see, we officially invaded Iraq in 2003. It's now 2018, so yeah, you're
15
right.
years,
It's
yeah.
been 15 years.
Which
but
is a long time.
We started talking about it and building up to it right,
Right.
after 9/11.
Right.
I
So-
mean, how else are we going to invade a country that hasn't proved any
Some
threat
of-
and hasn't invaded anyone else?
Exactly.
We have to have a reason for it, right?
And some of
So-
the same reasons. It's like weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
And then from the previous Gulf War, the idea of North Korea putting anthrax into ballistic missiles and
Right.
sending them. It's like, okay, that's going back to the Clintons and the Scud missiles from the the Gulf War,
Right.
and probably Bush Senior,
Right.
and
So, in other words, make yourself a strong
these
brain.
aren't strong enough, by the way.
I mean, yours stronger than mine.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whiskey and ginger.
Yeah, make yourself a strong drink because it's gonna be an interesting one. So they did this podcast like right before the holidays.
Right before New Year's, yeah.
So, it's now the middle of January. So
it's almost a month back.
And I just, it's just interesting. I've heard nothing about it, and it's and there's a document that they referenced, the NCSC or something like that.
Yeah, I don't
National Security
something or other.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's actually like I think the beginning of Robbie's podcast was that he said, it's really unclear who actually wrote this. Like it's written just by Trump.
Yeah, it says that it's written by Trump.
And of course all the neocons are going to support it. So
right. So one of the things
we're talking like it's out the door, like it's happening. This isn't like,
and this is some scary shit because this is going to be a real war.
Yeah,
and
that's an interesting point that they brought up too. Yeah,
right. So this is not going to be against Saddam Hussein's army. Okay, this is going to be a real war with a real army and possibly bringing in China and Russia into the mix. This has all the makings of World War III. Now, most people think that the Middle East is the flashpoint, but they've done so much to decimate the Middle East, and there's
nothing left.
There's if what is left are the rich countries.
Yeah, and what's happening with the Saudi princes a few weeks ago or a few months ago being holed up in the Ritz-Carlton, basically being jailed. I mean, it's a shit show over there. There's really nothing left. Mm-hmm. Korea. The only
thing that's left is Iran, and they've got target on that. But I think North Korea.
I feel like the Iran commentary is meant to distract us from the DPRK from Korea.
Could be. Yeah.
So.
And so with all the rhetoric about North Korea, I mean, everything that we've been told and heard, and it's like nobody in the United States at least, or in the Western countries, can really get behind supporting North Korea or Kim Jong-un, right?
Right.
And because it's like, why would you? You've heard so many bad things about them that you're not going to stick your neck out for them, right? And so that's the first thing that they.
I heard it was related to Hitler.
Yeah, right. So actually, I heard that Angela Merkel
Well, she might be. That makes more sense than Kim Jong Un. Well, I mean, she might be.
Yeah, but
yeah, okay, she might be, but you never know.
So they raised a couple points that were really important. So that was one of them. That was if they do this, who's going to fight against that? Well,
everybody on the left hates him.
Right.
Everybody on the right hates him.
Right. So, who's going to support that? Well, I think if you're a human and you have some shred of humanity in you, it's not that you're supporting.
Overrated.
I know.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry. If you are a human and you don't want to see massive death that comes from this, and it's going to blow back on us as well. Then it's one thing to oppose this, right?
Right.
Nobody's talking about it. I think they're doing it on the QT because they don't want protests. They don't want anything like that. The second thing is that what was it that I brought up? Oh, North and South Korea are been talking to each other, so the Trump administration doesn't like that very much, I think. And then what was the third thing that they brought up that I thought was really interesting that would keep them from putting this out there and really promoting it? And I think I don't know, nuclear war maybe.
Yeah.
There was one other thing, and I can't remember what it was, that was really interesting. And so
I'm already thinking ahead. In the Iraq War, Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning, came forward and showed the video that had our wonderful American soldiers, shooting innocent Reuters journalists and little children and calling them fun-sized terrorists. Mm-hmm. So I'm already thinking ahead to the Korean War, which brave soldier is going to turn in his comrades and have a video of the soldiers, gunning down a bunch of Korean school children and saying, "Aha, future little Kim Jong Uns or whatever, future little dictators." I'm already thinking about like what's going to happen there. Like, I'm waiting for that whistleblower to I'm wondering who that's going to be.
Well, Robbie Martin has already talked about what was the reporter he was saying would be like singing "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead" as they drag Kim Jong Un.
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper.
Right, singing "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead" as
name.
they drag
Tapper.
Right, that's
Tapper.
just not a real name.
No, I know, right? It's like, so Jake, you can have Jake, Smith, or you could have how about Jake O'Reilly? Now that's like Bill O'Reilly, or how about
How about Jack Mehoff?
right, or something like that. But he chooses Jake Tapper. It's like, I think I want to go for the most like degrading name that is like reminiscent of a porn star name,
Right?
ever,
Yeah, exactly. Jake.
I suppose I didn't really need to like spell it out for you.
Well,
but,
yeah, right. But
Jake
Well-
Tapper. You can have any name you want. Jake Tapper. That's the name I want.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, what would
that's
your-
the name
what
you
would
want?
your
Are you
porn-
sure about that?
what would your porn name be?
Well, I heard that it's supposed to be your first cat and
Your first pet and
your first pet. Just gave it away. It was a cat. Your first pet and
the first street.
street you grew up on.
Something like that. Yeah. No. Your first pet and your mom's maiden name.
Oh, but I so much like it. My first pet and my first street I grew up on is much more. I can't say my mom's maiden name because
Yeah, because okay, well then I'll go with that. That's
'cause
fine.
we're
So
on
what is it?
Republic.
Yeah.
Tina Crescendo.
Ooh, that's nice.
Tina Crescendo.
Mine would be Pinky McCann.
Tina Crescendo and Pinky McCann here, bringing you the news.
So my name for soap operas would be my middle name and my first street that I grew up on. It would be Paul Harper.
Wow. You're like that in 1,000 over here. You've
I
got
know.
the best names
I know.
ever.
Pinky McCann, except I think I'm the wrong gender for Pinky McCann, but maybe not.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, maybe not.
Remember Pinky in the Brain? Pinky was a boy.
Yeah. Well, like,
I kind of feel like this is a little Pinky in the Brain going on right here that we've got going on.
which one of us is trying to take over the world, and which one is insane?
We'll leave it up to our audience.
Right.
So we wanted to talk.
Hey, talking about the end of the world has
Yeah.
never been more fun.
Right. So that's what we're all about: making the end of the world fun for you.
Yeah,
Fun for you.
Well,
It'll be
fun-sized
okay.
terrorists and fun-sized...
Fun-sized diplomats. I can't
yeah.
wait for those American soldiers to get out there and save us from those fun-sized diplomats.
Mm-hmm. Diplomats?
So, yeah, because they're not terrorists or dictators. I'm sorry,
Dictators,
not
yeah.
diplomats. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, dictators.
Right.
Communist, fascist dictators. That apparently starves the country. Although all the videos I've seen of the DPRK, everybody looks really well
And
fed.
they're well-fed and well-dressed.
Yeah, pretty well fed and pretty well dressed.
Not that we're apologists for the
Yeah.
DPRK, but, I know propaganda when I see it.
Yeah.
Meaning it's coming from our end. And that's the other thing I think that was important to mention is that, all, and I mentioned this earlier, all the propaganda that we've been fed about the DPRK, and this whole idea of them sending anthrax over, and it's like, well, first of all, and this was brought up in the podcast we
in
just
their
listened to.
podcast,
Yeah, is that if you sent anthrax over on missiles, it would destroy the spores in the blast, right? So what's the point of that, right? The anthrax would be destroyed by the heat of the explosion,
Exactly.
right? So
And apparently they only have like one.
they have a very strong strain.
One engineer that's like commenting on this, who's like bringing the professional, dialogue around
Oh, I
this. So
see.
they don't have like a crew of engineers to
Right.
offer differing opinions like
well,
they
there was
normally
one.
do.
The reports
Just
that
one.
are out are they're basically it's like
Yeah.
yeah. One retired general keeps getting referenced
Right,
in the
right.
reports that are out there.
Yeah.
So we're really concerned about this, despite
Yes,
what you
we're
can tell.
very concerned.
No,
We're
but
very
seriously, I know,
concerned.
yeah. Well, hey, here in the good old USA, we're not going to, taste any of that anthrax.
Well,
or
like Abby said, she hopes that the rest of the country, the rest of the world, that at least in the UN might go, what
the
are you
fuck?
doing? Yeah, so maybe this is what, Trump never wanted to be president, so maybe he had to, move forward with something completely irrational and totally fascist and horrible in order to get unseated.
Right.
He never wanted the job to begin
But he's going to
with.
get. But see, the thing is it's just the opposite. I mean, he's going to get the support of. He's going to be once again presidential.
I mean,
if he pulls this shit.
this is how stupid the sum of the American mindset is. They want so badly for there to be an anti-establishment or anti-corporate or anti-warmongering type of person in that figurehead role, which really has no power. He's just doing the bidding of the neocons at this point, right?
Well, the deep state.
And
yeah.
the deep state.
Yeah.
So they want somebody in that figurehead role so badly that Trump could hold up a child and shoot him in the head on live TV, and they would explain it away. They would totally explain it away and say, but he's not corporate. He's not establishment. He's a man of the people. It's I think he's pretty much trying to do everything he can possibly do, outside of what I just said, to get unseated.
But on
point.
the other hand, he can just go, hey, pull my finger, and the left will go, oh my god,
Oh my God, he said, "Pull my
He
finger."
said, pull my finger.
I'm so offended.
I'm so offended.
Where's my safe space?
Right?
He said, pull my
So-
finger. He said, shithole. Oh
He
my
said
God,
shit- I
where's
know.
my safe space? Meanwhile, the documents are loaded and ready to go, and we're like this close to Korea. Fucking idiots with the shithole stuff.
Right.
Like,
Well,
who
the
cares?
shithole and and so all the false flags, all the attention grabbing bullshit that's out there, the whole shithole thing, just kills me because it's like, are you kidding me? Did we actually have him on tape saying this? Is he? Do we actually hear
No,
him
he
say
never-
it?
he never
no,
said it.
He never. We don't have
He never
evidence
said
of
it.
him actually saying it. And besides, even
He's
if
a
he
narcissist.
did, right? He's a narcissist. But and that's something else that Robbie brought up. It's like he'll do things to get attention, whether it's negative or not.
Right. Right.
So even if he did say shithole, he got shitloads of attention out of it, and we.
You
And the
fell
liberals,
for it.
the
You're
liberals,
supposed to go no contact with
the
narcissists.
liberals took it hook, line, and sinker.
Of course they
and
did.
that's why we're laughing about it because
Well,
it's
special.
bullshit.
They're a little special. We've got to be real patient with the liberals.
Right. Speaking of liberals, tomorrow is going to be the Women's March. Women's March Inc. Actually.
We came full circle.
Yeah.
We did. Last year we were out there with our phone. We got tons of views. We were out there in San Francisco. I thought it was really interesting that every single person in the entire Bay Area came out for the Women's March, and there were no Gestapo.
There was no
There
Gestapo.
was no SFPD
Otherwise known as
Gestapo.
SFPD. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
No.
no Gestapo. That was really
No, to
interesting.
be fair
me.
to us.
It's almost like it was sponsored somehow.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to us, we did go out there going, we know this is bullshit. But we went out there anyway. We're not
We were
going
being
tomorrow.
ironic.
Yeah, I know, ironic. Yeah, that's true. Well, we're not going to do that. We're not falling for that
No.
shit anymore. So I heard
No.
I heard on a report. There's an article in the New Yorker. I didn't read it. I was going to before we were going to do this, but basically there's a rift in the Women's March thing, and the red state women are going, hey, all you blue state coastal women marchers are, you can say all you want about being big tent, but you're not talking about the issues that we want. And besides, you tried to trademark Women's March, and so they're actually calling it Women's March Inc. And the red state women are
Next thing you know,
calling
they're
it
going
something
to
else.
actually trade. They're going to start selling those crocheted pink hats in Walmart.
Right. Oh, wow.
If not Walmart,
Walgreens.
Amazon.
Amazon. Oh, yeah.
How much? In fact, they probably already
probably
are there.
already are, yeah.
By the way, proud citizen over here. Took a little bit of time. It wasn't as easy as you might think, but I was able to completely disconnect from Amazon. I
Yeah.
shut down my Amazon account, and I recommend you do that too.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet because
I'm not sure
I may want to get some bargains, Julie.
I'm not sure I want somebody who owns the Washington Post, who's in bed with the CIA,
Yeah.
to be paying attention to the fact that, you know,
I'm buying Kapaba.
I'm buying like hand lotion and like or vitamins or,
Or
something.
what's
It's none of
that,
your
Kretop?
fucking business, Bezos. Get your Bezos out of my business,
That's
Bezos.
right, Bezos. Yeah, because I mean, he's selling everything you buy to the government. It's not just marketers anymore.
All of your information.
Yeah.
People, you know, the other day, my neighbor, she had this awesome umbrella. And I said, where'd you get that? Amazon, of course.
But, you know, the
That's
government
okay.
needs to know about your umbrella.
It's really important. It's really
But so
important.
back to the Women's March. I mean, so we're not going tomorrow.
No.
And it's, you know, the fact that people are calling it Women's March Inc. is pretty fucking funny. So people are starting to wake up to this bullshit.
Yeah, that's
You know,
weird. That's
yeah.
just weird. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like last year we knew that it was corporatized. We knew that it was completely sponsored by, you know, the corporatocracy that runs our so-called democracy. And this year they're actually coming out and being really obvious about it. Why would you try to corporatize a movement? Like, what the fuck is that? Hey, can Antifa corporatize?
I don't know.
Oh, some
Well,
people think it already is.
Yeah, some people
You know,
already.
some people think it's
we-
already, like-
We saw a video come up on YouTube that said the title was "The Jesuits Created Antifa."
Right,
I love
right,
it.
right.
Wow, the conspiracy theorists are just out there in droves these days.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a good one.
But what's not a conspiracy theorist is the new product that you are not being sold.
Right.
Ironically enough.
Yeah.
But you are actually, and you have been being sold the product for decades.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's in a counterintuitive way.
Right.
It's through telling you how bad something is.
Right.
So we get to
Do you realize North Korea has never dropped a bomb on anyone?
Right.
Ever?
Right.
I didn't even know that.
Well,
You know?
I mean, did they? Well, I imagine to defend themselves during the Korean Peninsula War.
They were not, and they were not proactive. They were
Right.
not.
No.
being-
The state or the empire basically drew the line between North and South, and they weren't looking for war. It was the empire that caused it. And you know, the U.S. has been dictating policy on that peninsula for the last 70 years. So. And they haven't attacked anyone else. I mean, they didn't really attack South Korea, like, you know, is in legend. It's probably in Wikipedia that they did, you know.
They didn't.
But yeah. So you know, we now get to have our 2 minutes hate in the U.S. On
Wait,
a regular.
it's coming.
On the regular, yeah,
it's
it's coming.
That's what all those paid 10,000 employees for Facebook are all about.
That's
because
right.
they're going to really, really push for the
Right.
North Korea
Now we
invasion.
only have 183, 184 followers, so they're not paying attention to us right now. So we think
Yet.
But
No,
so
we're
right
sitting
now
under the
we're
radar.
under the end of the radar,
We're
and so
more
we get
on
to
the
say
ground.
these things.
We're
Yeah,
more on the ground.
we are on the
We
ground.
actually like to talk to people in person. Sorry,
Yeah, no.
I'm making
Make yourself comfortable.
So we listened to Abby and Robbie, and we're going to go over and see Robbie right now. He's doing a thing in Noe Valley, which is a little neighborhood in San Francisco. And he's going to be at a little bookstore doing his like music art thing, and so we're going to go check him out.
And Chris Force.
And Chris Force is an old friend of ours, and
Yep.
she's really really doing well for herself with her music as well. So we're pretty excited, pretty happy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of, you know, give Robbie a piece of my mind. How dare you talk about the end of the world?
Yeah, it's a real bring down. Well, they did apologize, Julie.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
they
and
did.
now
They did.
we're bringing everybody down by talking about.
Yeah, but I don't
But you know what?
apologize.
The
I
thing
don't
is,
ever
I
apologize.
talked last
I don't have
spring.
anything to apologize.
I did that whole dark piece, and like, you know, one of our followers.
I know. You
was
guys
like,
are scaring me.
You guys are scaring me.
It's the
man.
end of the world in 9 years.
Yeah.
Probably.
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 You know.
And now with this Korea thing, it's
Yeah.
like most definitely.
Yeah.
Most
well,
definitely.
I think it's going to be less like the road and more about like just
Gone.
Yeah.
Like,
well, or else just we'll all
gone.
be in prison, you know. or
Yeah,
something.
either or behind bars.
Mhm.
That's your future. That's your kid's future.
It's your kid's future, at least.
Aren't you glad you had all those children? Yay! They'll never be able to afford to leave your house.
You know,
or they'll go to jail and be nice little slaves for the corporation. Yay!
You know, they should start
That's
those,
their future.
those stickers that they put on the backs of like SUVs with like different families.
Oh yeah, they should put
They should
little
put
bars
those bars
over.
across them.
So you've got mom, dad, the 3 kids, and Fido and the kitty. You should put little bars over everything.
Yeah.
Except Fido and Kitty will have like little X's
on
over
their
over their eyes
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're dead. Because you'll have had to eat them for survival.
Yeah, Gretel. We don't eat meat, so Gretel's gonna have to. I
Yeah, we
know.
don't eat meat. So what
Yeah.
do we do with our cat?
You're free. No.
So, but yeah, so we'll later on, not right now because we got to get going, but later on we will come back to this when we review it, and we'll put in the links for the podcast that Abby Martin and Robbie Martin did together. They recorded it before the holidays, but they released it
just
today, I think.
Yeah.
They may have released it before, but we heard it today.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also included a Business Insider article and a Telegraph UK article, which I'll also include. So they asked people, they specifically said more and more people need to talk about this.
So we're talking about
So we're
this.
talking about it.
And
this
we're-
is what everybody should be talking
Right.
about.
And we're being a little flippant about it, but at the same time, you know, it's fucked up stuff.
Yeah,
So-
because you know what? I've had it. I've just fucking had it.
and we need to
And
talk
at this
about
point,
it before it happens because
Right.
you know we talked about other stuff after it happened, and we're talking about Yemen and all this, and it's not doing anything, and this may not do anything either. But
Right.
we want you to be aware of this stuff before it takes place.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. You have to know. It's infuriating to me and mind-boggling to me and stunning to me to see so many people go on and on and on and on and on about stuff that doesn't really matter. You know? Stuff
Well-
that doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
At all.
I know.
And yet we're not talking about the real stuff
Right.
at all. So
So tomorrow we're going to come back to you with a podcast about the Women's March and Paris, California.
yeah, we should talk a little bit about that. That's something that's been on our
Actually, we will probably talk about that, but not the way you think.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Because
but
we have our own ideas about that shit.
Yeah,
And somebody just joined us. Hey, it's time to go. Oh, they left.
yeah. Well, they can watch it
Yeah,
when we sign
when
off.
we sign
But anyway, so to our few followers that we do have, thank you for tuning in, and thank you again to Abby and Robbie,
Martin.
the Abby Martin and Robbie Martin. Abby Martin is a journalist for Telesur English. She used to be mainstream. I think she was on CNN or MSNBC, and then she started Speaking the Truth, and so they booted her.
She was on.
You're
RT.
out of here, kid. And then she went
RT.
on RT for a while, and she then criticized RT. Which, if you're a real journalist, you will criticize everything. And if you're a real human being, you're going to question everything, and you're going to criticize everything.
Well,
I encourage children to criticize their parents
Right.
constantly.
Well, there's a radio show on our local
starts
radio
there, when
station,
they're young.
and
Yeah.
it's called Philosophy Talk,
Mm-hmm.
and their motto is we question everything except your intelligence. So I think that's a good way to go.
Right.
You know.
So, she questioned the mainstream narrative that she was forced to espouse, and so then she got booted, and then she questioned RT narrative, and so she got booted off of RT. But now she's with Telesur
Well,
English.
she didn't really get booted off at RT.
That's true. There was
Yeah.
some. I don't know what the story
it's
was with that,
confusing.
but
but she didn't really get booted.
yeah,
but,
well,
yeah.
whatever. She left. Actually, that's right. She left of her own
Volition.
volition, and she's on Telesur English now. She has a show called Empire Files. Check it out on YouTube. And she often, sits down with Chris Hedges, which is nice because he's,
Amazing.
he's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. And her brother he's written for Mint Press News. He's an artist. He's into music and art. Abby too is also an artist, a painter.
Mm-hmm.
So she lives in New York and he lives here in the Bay Area, I believe, in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So check them out.
Mhm.
We're talking some really excellent, critical thinking, solid people that have really influenced my outlook and my the way I look at life now. And it's been really, really amazing, an amazing journey, and they've been part of that journey, whether they realize it or not. So,
Yeah.
All
right, we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we should, because we're going to actually go see Robbie now.
Yeah, we're not going to be late. All right, good.
Yeah, well.
So,
yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
All right, you accused him of being chatty, but I think you've been chatty tonight.
Well, a couple drinks.
Yeah.
It's Friday night. What do you expect?
All right, I'm JP.
And I'm Julie.
And this has been the Book of Hours podcast, and it's been called...
Pinky and the Brain. No. It's been called
going to do tonight.
Products. As in, the product you are not being told about, but you are being sold.
Yes, exactly. And believe me, the shit's gonna hit the fan soon.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.